Okay, we're on the bottom of the Afnun Gimel, the last word. It's a very interesting subject we spoke about yesterday, and the Gemara today takes some things for granted that we're supposed to know already. So there was Machlokes of Nosson and Rabbanan. Oh, I'm sorry, Chaim David asked if we could do this for him.
My pleasure.
Maybe I'll start again after he gets on. So the Machlokes is the Machlokes of Nosson and Rabbanan yesterday, and the main Machlokes of Nosson and Rabbanan was if a bor is chayiv for a shore which got pushed into it. Maybe a bor is only chayiv in nafal, that is filled, not that someone pushed it in. And that's what Rabbanan hold. And the Nosson holds that the shore is even chayiv. It's really working? It's really working? Sure. That this is Afnun Gimel, the last word, Itmar, and just started a introduction. That yesterday we had Machlokes of Nosson and Rabbanan, and the main issue of Nosson and Rabbanan was if a bor is chayiv when something was pushed into it, not that it fell in by itself. That the Rabbanan would say, doesn't say the psukim, but the Drash seems to be b'nafal below shepilu, only if it fell on its own, not that it got pushed in, or pushed in by, or somehow they got pushed in by a brick or something else that caused that they should trip into the bor. Machlokes, Rav Nosson says that they still chayiv, the bor is chayiv, and Rabbanan say pater. There's another machlokes that came in that wasn't so clear, wasn't so obvious, and we only spoke about half of the subject, and now they have to so the other half of the subject. Rav Nosson says that also kilak l'shalom mehai shtalim mehai. It's another issue, nothing to do with the first issue. When you have two mazikim that were shutafim, they were partners, accomplices in the crime. So is it considered each one did the whole damage and the whole crime? And therefore, if one of them is going to have a tour of some reason, or you can't get the money out of him, there's a chiv on each one to pay the whole thing. Of course, they're not going to pay the whole, right? But they're going to chip in to pay each one's chayiv. Or do you say each one did half the damage? Each one's only considered half obligated, and the other one, if they can't get money out of the other one, I'm only chayiv half. Rav Nosson seemed to say that you pay each one's chayiv the whole thing. The Gemara said you could get out of that also, and say even according to Rav Nosson, only by bor. Bor is special. That he says, Nissi says to the Bala bor, I don't know anything. I found my shore in your bor, and whatever I can get from the other guy, I'll get from him. If not, then you'll pay the rest. Which we don't have. I don't have clarity what that means exactly. That why bor is different. Taisa says maybe because the Gemara, the Mark of Apatish was done on the bor, maybe bor is different. So, but the Gemara is a machlokes according to two sides, two iboy semas. If according to Rav Nosson, do you say that each one did the whole hezek, or each one did only half the hezek, and only bor is special? The bor has to pay for the rest, whatever you can't get from the other shutah. But we didn't talk about Rabbanan yesterday. We didn't. What did Rabbanan hold about this issue? We spoke about Rabbanan that a bor is part of if something pushed it in that didn't fall up on its own. Okay, that's what Rabbanan hold. But there's another issue going on that Rav Nosson spoke about, that one has to pay for the other one. Whatever you can't pay, the kulas take over, or bor special. What do Rabbanan hold about that? So it's not so clear. It said, and we learned when we learned Mishalim, I think when I did say it, when it said over here, it says up on the Gimel Amar Aleph, it said, Shor Shedochav Es Chaver LeBor. So you have a shore and a bor that together were mazik the shore. A shore puts another shore into the bor. So Bala Shor Chayiv, Bala Bor Pater. So I read it. I thought that Bala Shor is Chayiv everything, and the Bala Bor is Pater. So our main issue was to see that the Bala Bor is Pater because they got pushed in. And I'm not going to say that the Bor is also Chayiv, but when it says Bala Shor Chayiv, if you take that to mean that it's Chayiv the whole thing, that means that even though he has a shuttif, somebody else also has a shuttif in it, but he's not Chayiv. The Bor is Pater, but he's an accomplice that has an exemption. He's also joined in the damage. Of course, it was because of the Bor also. But he's Pater because lo she'apilu, not because he was pushed in. But here the Shor has to pay even what the Bor would have paid, which is another way of saying Kuli Hazek Alvin, Kuli Hazek Alvin. That's how I thought the Pashut was. But Tyson says not like that. Tyson over here says, and that's how our Gemara is going to seemingly go, like Tyson understood, that it says Bala Shor Chai Pirush Mechza. That he says, I do have a shuttif. The shuttif is a Pater. Okay, that's his business. But I'm not going to pay more than that because I have a shuttif. And the Gemara goes, and Rav Nosson, maybe Rav Nosson holds that he paid, that each one did the whole damage. Today's Gemara is assuming that there's a machlokes going on, and even though we had two tzadim in Rabbi Nosson, the Gemara is going to take one side that each one did the whole hezek, and in Rabbanan it's not so clear and they bring down a Rashi. Tais brings down a Rashi and Daf Yud Gimel that maybe said differently, that according to Rabbanan, they pay the whole thing. But we're going to go with this assumption. The following Gemara is going to go with the assumption that according to Rabbanan, each one did the whole damage, and according to Rabbanan, each one did half the damage only. And the most you can by any two masikim that were mazik for shutfis. The Gemara is going to talk about now.
And would be that's it. I'm a shutuf with a cotton, so
all these cases.
So
actually,
I'm to pay the whole thing.
Right, that's I'm not going to say you have to pay the whole thing because shut from each one did the whole mazik, and he has a ptor, so I can't get from him, so you have to pay the whole thing. Of course, if both of them, if you did it with other adults, you're not going to pay double. The guy doesn't have to get double. But if you were shut with someone partner, for instance, a katan, so Nosson will say chayiv the whole thing, and one will say only pay half. That's the assumption the Gemara is starting with, which wasn't clear at all yesterday. And that's what the Gemara seems to be assuming with. So we start in the bottom word, itmar. And now we turn to Amud Beis, and the Gimel Amud Beis. Itmar. Shor, v'shor psula mikdoshin shenakul. Two shvarim that cord, no bor over here, just two shor shvarim gourd together, a third shor. And one shor is chayv, one shor is pater. That's all the Gemara really means. A shor, we could have said for simplicity, could have said a shor. And katan, a shor and shor hektish. That's pater. Yeah. The Gemara says the complicated case, which is not so clear why the Gemara made a complicated case. He really wants to get the shor which is pater. This shor, psula mikdashin, is another way of saying the shor that Bez is not going to be able to collect from. He's pater. There's a technical problem with that a shor psula mikdashin is chayim. That a Shabshalom Avdashin usually means that is a shore that was hektish and a kamma, and it was redeemed, and it's called shorayehu. It is called shorayehu. A shor hektish is not called shorayehu. If the Gemara wanted to be simple, it would have said shor for shor hektish and akum. And I would like to check. I don't know what the Gemara says. Maybe there's an old Gemara that says that, but it doesn't. But the idea for the Gemara would have been that it's a shore that's high, regular shore, and a shor Shalom Avdashin, a shor hektish that were mazik. And the shor hektish is potter, and the shor is chayim. So mamish the case we spoke about. Did each one do half the damage? Did each one do whole damage? Of course, the shor hektish is going to be potter. And the question is, how much could you get out of the other guys? You get only half because he only did it. He has an accomplice. He has somebody else. He's potter, but I only did half. Or do you say each one did the whole, and therefore each one is going to do the shor is going to be chayim, the whole thing. The shor hediot is going to be chayim because you can't get any money out of the shor hektish. So on this question about shor psula mikdashin, it's complicated. Like we don't know why. Why did the Gemara make a complication? And the Rishonim talk about it, and they say this is not a regular shor psula mikdashin. This is going to be some kind of a shor that is not called shorayehu. A regular shor psula mikdashin is called shorayehu because you're allowed to eat it. What do you do with it? You redeem it, and now it has some.
Already redeemed.
It's already redeemed, and it only has some restrictions. Tizbach v'lo giza v'chalta l'klabecha wasn't on.
No,
it wasn't. Okay. Okay. Yes, it was on. Okay. That there has some restrictions. Tizbach v'lo giza, shor basa v'lo chula, v'chalta v'lo l'klabecha. But as far as shorayehu, it's called shorayehu. So they have to say a pshat in these words. That's not a regular shor psula mikdashin. It's going to be a case that's not called shorayehu. That's enough.
Okay.
It's and what is it exactly? It says in the parentheses over here, it's a bechor that was not nifta. Okay, Rashi says that. Maybe right. Okay, maybe right. Okay, good. Good enough. So as far as we're concerned, a shor which is chayiv to pay and a shor which is potter to pay. Both of them gourd. How much is the shor which is chayiv to pay? How much is it going to pay? And really, we should say very simply, it depends on this issue. That each one did the whole damage, and each one did half the damage. That's all. That's the issue. And how do we hold about it? So we have in Rav Nosson, the Gemara had a question yesterday, and we'll assume that Rav Nosson holds it's chayiv. Each one did the whole damage. And in Rabbanan, you could learn that Rabbanan hold, like Tosis said, each one does half the damage. They didn't say beferish, but you could assume that. And the Gemara assumes that. And that's the machlokes. Does he pay half the damage because he has a shutter, who's potter, or does he pay the whole damage because it doesn't help you a shutter? Each one did the whole damage, and if you can't get any money out of him, so we're going to get all the money out of you. That's all the Gemara is going to say. The Gemara is going to throw in a little bit another factor that if it was a tam, it only pays half. Half of what? Half of what it would have had to pay. Say if it has a ptor that only is paying half in the first place because it has a shutter, so now it has two. It has a discount of he has a shutter. He also has a discount because it's chatzin nesek. So it'll be a quarter. So all of these factors, the main factor the Gemara just wants to talk about is two shutfim that are mazik. Did each one do the whole thing, or did each one half the thing?
I hear it by bar by shar.
By Shor also, both of them are mazik together.
Yeah, but it's what do you call it?
Why don't you look at each one? How much did he go? How much did he go?
Yeah, it's 50. The
50.
damage is
So is each one individual. So I don't know the case. You have to know the case how the shvarim fight. The case that the damage happened as a result of both of them. Yeah, question. Like, what's exactly? Why don't you look? This go on the right side was $50, and the go on the left side was $25. Why look? Why look at them as shutfin? But the case must be that they did it in a way that only both of them did it together, and like similar to the show on the board, that the show puts the show into the board, and they needed both of them, and both of them did it together. Here also must be a case of together. I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question, but I imagine it's going to be a kind of a damage that each one that looked upon together, not that.
You'll see the video.
no, it's sometimes the power of the whole shar. You need the power of the whole shar.
So
You
he
said the
needed-
power of the whole
So
shar
he
is the
needed,
one.
he needed the power of both shore. Both shore. Is it called Zayachol v'Zayachol, Zayni Yachol v'Zayni Yachol?
Okay.
So here, Abayam and Mishal, Chatzi Nezek, Vina and Mishal, Mivia Nezek. And the Gemara is going to say that they're not arguing. How much is the shore hedio, the shore that's paying? The shore is party. He goes home. He doesn't pay anything. How much does the shore that's headed, the shore headed, how much does he have to pay? So the possibility is half, or the possibility is a quarter. Now it must be Hava Batam. Both of them are talking about a tam. So the most you're going to get is going to be a Chatzi Nezek. And the Gemara attributes the Shita that each one did half according to Rabbanan of Rab Nasan. So you have two discounts. You have Tam, plus you only did half the Nezek because you have a Shutif, so he pays a quarter. And Rab Nasan holds that each one's considered a whole damager, so he only has the Torah of being a Tam, so he pays half. That'll be no machlokas Rabina and Abaya. One was talking about, both of them were talking about a Tam, one was talking about Rab Nasan Shita, one was talking about Rabbanan Shita. Iba is saying Rabbanan. Both of them are going according to the Shita that holds that you only did half. That if you pay half, if you're a tam, so then you have two discounts because you're a shutta, you have a shutta, and also you're a tam, so you can only pay a quarter. That was Ravina. And Rabbi was talking about a muad, so he only gets the ptor of a shutta. Pasha the calculations. Ikadami, there was another version of what they said. Abai Amachatzi Nezek, same as before. Ravina Amakule Nezek. That before Ravina, in the first version, Ravina said a quarter. In the second version, he said a whole. But the same cheshbon is not going to be. Hav a muad. It's surely talking about a muad in order to pay the whole Nezek. It surely has to be a muad. That the one who said that you pay half is because even though he's a muad, but he has a shutuf, so he only has to pay half of the whole is half. And Hakir Nasan that pays that each one considered he did the whole damage, so he has to pay the Nezek Shalom. That's going to be Ravina. By saying Nasan, both of them hold that you have to you don't have a shutuf because each one pays the whole. Each one's considered they damage the whole. But more other time. The one who said you pay Nezek Shalom is because it's a more according to Rabbi Nassan. The one who said it's because of time. A time only pays Chatzi Nezek, even if it would be alone. End of Gemara. So the Gemara made it complicated, but it seems to be very simple. The issue is when two mazikim damaged with a partnership, they both of them did it simultaneously together as a shutfis. And one of them cannot pay. Does the other one have to fill in for him? Is it considered each one did the whole damage, or each one only did half the damage and he only pays his half? And the Gemara attributes it to Machlokes Rav Nosson and Rabbanan. Rav Nosson holds each one did the whole, and the Rabbanan hold each one did the half. We're just pointing out again and again that it's not so clear. Yesterday the Gemara had a question in Rav Nosson, and the Gemara and Rabbanan, the Mamish doesn't say anything. The Gemara just says Chayiv, and you could say that it means Chayiv Chetzi, but it doesn't say so beferish. So very interesting how the Gemara gives us these like the fundamental principles that Rav Nosson are arguing in this. And now Gemara is making the application, and of course the time is only going to pay half of what I should have paid. So very simple.
If it's a merge, and they have to pay shalem. If only and one can't pay.
So that's machlokes. If Rabbanan and Rav Nosson, if two that damage together, is it considered that each one did the whole job? Each one has full responsibility. Whatever you could pay from the other one, you get. If not, and then I don't have to pay twice. The guy's not going to get to pay twice. But each one is really have the whole obligation. One of them is part the other one to pay the whole thing. And or the according to Rabbanan, each one only did half. When you have shit from that one mazik, each one only damaged half, and the most you're going to get out of each person is only half. The other one has a ptor, so I only have to pay half. It would be nice to see what the halach is on this, but that's how the Gemara sets up the halach and Rabbanan. Okay, new Gemara. That's the end of that Gemara. Amar Rabbanan. Sure. This is very Very nice. I would say maybe like summing up a lot of things we learned into a case that the Gemara is going to analyze for us. Shor v'adam, no good. Sorry. Try again. Shor v'adam shadach v'labor. So here you have three. The Gemara is going now. For this case, the Gemara is going that each one did the whole damage. And what else? Anything else to say? And it's a muad, whatever. Regular three accomplices in a hezek that happened. There was a shor, an adam, and a bor. A shor and an adam together pushed another shor into the bor. So we come to Besna, we have three people on trial: the bala shor, the adam, and the bala bor. And we're also going like Rav said that the bar is chayiv. If he doesn't have the tour, that's what I meant to say. That's what I was missing. That the bar is chayiv, even though someone got pushed in. Rav wouldn't say a bar is not chayiv. Anybody being pushed in. We're going according to Rav that the bar is chayiv, even though the show was pushed in. But he has shutfim. So three people on trial: the bala shor, the bala and the adam, and the bala bar. And now the Gemara is going to say each one happens to have a tour. So whatever is, but it could be that p'tur only applies to some and not to others. And the Gemara is going to go through all the different p'turim and say who gets the p'tur, who doesn't. Whoever doesn't have the p'tur, the Gemara is going to they have to pay the rest. We're going like a person that holds that each one did the whole damage. So these three shutfim, each one's considered they did the whole damage. And if anybody has an exemption for some reason, so the other ones are going to have to pay on their own. And if there are two exemptions, then the third one's going to have to pay on his own. And now it talks about many cases. Let's try. There's going to be Linyan Zakin, and then there's going to be Linyan Arbot Vam with Mevalodos, and then there's going to be Linyan Kofer Shloshim Shalevet, and then there's going to be Linyan Kaler, and that's it. Oh no, sure, and also Shalom Dashin. Okay, well, the most going to talk about who has to pay for the damages. So for damages, kulam chayav, and they're all chayv, the shor, the adam, and the board, all chayv to pay nezek. So you have three accomplices. So then each one pays a third. Linyan abod vorim udemei v'lados. That there's also tzar ripoy. He pushed a person in. The person got pushed in. A man got pushed in by a man on the shore. Pushed a man into a bor. So there's a chiv of abod vorim to pay for. The other man has to pay nezek. Besides nezek, also tzar ripoy shevas boshes. But only the man has to pay for that. V'lados means if it was a woman they pushed in, and Vlad, she had a miscarriage, so only the Adam is chayiv for that. Adam chayiv for shor bar paturim. The shor is pater on abed vorm, the bar is pater on abed vorm. Both of them shor bar pater and mevelados. So that and the mevelados and the abed vorm, only the man has to pay by himself because he doesn't have any shut from over there. And we're going now if you don't have the shut from, so then you have to pay the rest. So only the Adam is going to be fine. How about if the shor, a man was pushed in and he died? So there's on a muad, if it will be a shor muad, so kofer and shlosh shalevet only a shor pays, but Adam doesn't pay kofer, and a bor doesn't pay kofer, and no shlosh shalevet. So only the shor is chayiv by himself. But then he has no shit from over there. So shor chayiv, Adam bar p'turim. How about kalim? That it was a kli that got broken, that the shor and the Adam pushed the kli into the bor and it broke. So and also shop sulam mikdashin, which means now this is the pasuk of shop sulam mikdashin that a bor is pater and shop sulam mikdashin. Now we're going to get to the pasuk of shop sulam mikdashin. A shop which is a pasuk hektish, which means it was hektish. It was a korban and it got a mum and they redeemed it, and it is called shor yehu. And the Gemara is going to go through this now. This is going to be the main subject, not like the top line. The top line shop sulam mikdashin over there meant something else. Okay, that is called shor yehu. Here we're talking about that a bor is pater and shop sulam mikdashin, and that's a special Torah only for bor. Because they're both chayiv and kalim and shop sulam mikdashin. And bor is pater because he has two p'turim. So the adam and the shor are going to have to split the cost by themselves, only split in two. So that's the end of the Gemara. And everything mostly been already. And the Gemara just made the cheshbon that we're going that the bor is chayiv even though something was pushed into it, and each one's considered a whole mazik. And therefore, if you have a shutr, fine, you'll divide it. If you have two shutrim, you'll divide it in three. If you have one shut, you divide it in two. If you have no shut, you have to pay everything by yourself. And the Gemara went through each one of the mazikim, which p'turim they have. And now we go on to a side point, which I had mentioned already in the Masechta. Yes, please.
I'm not understanding the last case. The words kalim means kalim got damaged. What's the case?
Right. A man and an ox. The man, everything's going back to this first case down the yellow. All the cases are that a
the
shore
ox
and an
pushed
ox and a man
Yes.
put something into the bar. So the shore and the Adam, they both pushed a table into the bar.
Yeah. And then the second thing is what? Does this puzzle?
Sorry, I'll just have to see what's happening. 1 second. Hello.
Jacob,
Yes.
1 minute. Got a phone call.
Hello?
Phone call.
I see.
כן. שלום, שלום, אני באמצע שיעור, אז אני אחזור אליך. שלום, שלום, כל טוב, שלום, שלום. I'm sorry, so an ox and a man pushed a table into a boar, and it got damaged. So the shore is high for damaging a table, and the Adam is high for damaging a table, but the boar is potter on Kalim. So a shore is not potter on Kalim. You think a boar is potter on Kalim? So you're right. The boar is potter on Kalim. The shore is high. Again, there are three people on trial: the Bala Shor, the Adam, and the Bala Boar. The boar says I'm potter on Kalim.
Oh.
And the shore another machayev. Okay, so the Dayan says to the Bala Shor and the Adam, you got to pay each one 50% of the table. But the Bala Boar is out. That's good. That was the case of Kalim.
No, it also says shor psule hamikdashin. That
Right,
means
another case. That's another case.
that shore got pushed in.
Right. All these, right. The shore and the regular shore and Adam, they pushed the shore psula mikdashin into the boar.
And
So
that's
the Bala Boar
the boar is
stands
putter.
up and says, I'm potter. And that's going to be the sugi now. The boar is potter on shop psula mikdashin. But the shore and the Adam are chayiv. It's not a hektish. This is not a shore of hektish. This is a shor psula mikdash. And shor hektish means that it's a korban. That's a shor hektish is a korban mamish. It's not called shor yehu, although shor hektish. But a shor psula mikdash is called shor yehu because it got a mun and it was already redeemed, and therefore it's mutter to eat. You're allowed to eat it. There are certain restrictions, but it's a regular shor chulin. So a shor, another machayib, and a boar is going to have a special p'tor. A boar is potter, even though it's called shor yehu, a boar is potter on shor psula mikdash, and that's going to be the sugya now.
Okay, I'm with you.
So it was very neat. Yes, please.
Good. I'm with you. I'm with
Good,
you.
okay, good.
Rabbi, just quickly, are they all acting in or together?
We're together. Okay.
Tiny hours. First of all, you could also learn the Gemara that he doesn't have to pay the whole thing. It's just that we would split it, and the Gemara is referring to if you're chelik or the other one's potter on that chelik. You take it, split it into three on the kalim.
I kept on
Say
saying
that
that
third,
whatever's left, they have to split and pay the whole thing. And the professor is saying it's not
Well,
mufas.
we don't
It could be that here he'll only get 1/3, he'll get 2/3, he'll get 3/3. Maybe whoever has a tour is not filled in by the other accomplices. I hear good
And also Shloshim Shal Eved. What's the case?
that they pushed the Ebed into the bar and he died.
Adam is.
Oh, there was potter on Shloshim, right?
Same
thing is
more
good.
than the worth of the Eved. The worth of the Eved will pay, but it's worth more than that, which would be the Knas. That is part.
Why should we pay for the word?
Till the Eved.
But there's what is it called? It's called Kamma B'Ravine. That why not? The Chiv Misa on killing. Someone kills Rebbe Kanani, it's Chiv Misa. What is that over there? Especially for the other one. So that's only for the other.
In the case that there's no common reality.
I'm sorry, there is Kamma B'Ravine, right? There is Kamma B'Ravine. Adam is potter. He's going
to be Adam's going to be potter because it's coming around.
Like every kofer and shloshim shalom that Adam is potter. I think there was one sugi we had about damim that even if there was a sugi about damim, so it was the more we had one that was a complicated. It was like not simple. That there's such a possibility you pay damim. You pay besides even if there's no kofer, but you have to pay the value. And that was maybe we learned that. So the dam I've got we didn't find it in the posting that there's such a thing paying damim.
But whenever he's saying that a person won't pay not damim, not knas,
because I think. And now the Gemara goes into the side point that came in. The last thing that came in that a boar is put on shop sulam mikdashim, and it is called sharayehu. It's not kohekdish. So my timer. The Gemara mentioned this before in passing a couple of pages ago. My timer, why is the bor potter on shop sula mikdashin? Omakra b'mezi yalo. The pasuk says by bor that bala bor yishalem kesef v'shivla bala b'mezi yalo. Maybe it has the pasuk on the side. Which way should I go? Right or left? Kalpina shut the bone there. I got it every single time. I get it wrong.
That's impossible.
Bala bor yishalem kesef v'shivla bala b'mezi yalo. Just to point out, we're going to have soon that it says also by. Oh no, this doesn't bring that a pasuk. Okay, this is the pasuk that says by a bor, by mezi yalo. And what does it say? That the carcass belongs to the nizik, and the mazik only the bar only has to pay the difference between the live shore and the dead shore. That's the pasuk on the pasuk. Now, then why is saying a drash? It's only talking about a kind of a shore that the carcass belongs to the nizik, and he could use it whatever he wants. But a shop mikdashin, it says tizbach tizbach. It says that if you're not allowed to use the carcass of a shop mikdashin to give to your dogs, it's only made to eat. You have to shecht it and eat it. It's chulin, but it has a restriction that you can't use it for anything else besides food. You have to shecht it and eat it. You can't work with it, and you can't use it for dogs. You can't give the meat to the dogs. So that's called Eina Meshalo. The carcass is not usable. Since the pasuk says Vamesialo, it's a drash. It's not pasuk pshat. Since the pasuk says it's talking about a kind of a shore that the mace is usable, but a shop sulam mikdashin is not usable. They forgot if it died. So that's not the pasuk is talking about. So a bor is potter and shop sulam mikdashin. The name of the Pshita Ve'edamah is a problem because other place Rabba didn't know, but Rabba's talking over here. Rabba said all this. Where's that? Omar Rabba. He's the one who said all this. And Rabba wasn't so sure about a bor being potter. I'm sure on the Mikdashin. Told me about the name of the Pshita Ve'edamah. Rabba, you're saying that you mean to say that it was given by Rabba that a bor is potter and shop on the Mikdashin? Told me, boy, the Rabba. Rabba had a question about that. The boy Rabba, Mamash's question. Shop on the Mikdashin should not for the bor mahu. What's it then if a shore Sulam Mikdashin fell into a bor? Do you say this drasha? Hi v'mesi alo b'misha meishalo yatsa zeh sheina meishalo. Do you dash what you just said that the pasuk v'mesi alo implies that it's talking about a kind of a carcass that's usable by the owner, but this one is not usable, so the pasuk is not talking about him and he's potter. O dilma v'mesi alo the bottom mataflim ben avelu dasa. Maybe this pasuk is using for a different drasha that the owner gets the nevela. There's a question we had that who gets the nevela? Maybe the mazik says the nizik says I don't want the carcass. I want my shore. You take the nevela and give me the price of the full shore. And the mazik says, you keep the nevela and I'll give you the difference. So the pasuk comes to tell you, amesi alo, that it belongs to the nizik, and the mazik only has to pay the difference. So maybe that's what the pasuk is coming to say. So Rabbi wasn't sure about this drasha. This thing amesi alo, that it comes to say that the bor is pater and shav sulam mikdash, and Rabbi wasn't sure. And all of a sudden he's sure. So my answer is, was it the boy or the pashta? Yeah, first he didn't know, and then he decided. It doesn't say how he decided, but he came to a conclusion that it is coming to tell you that the bar is potter and shop surah midrashim. Okay, so we know. And the statement of Rava, that's what he holds the maskana, that's how he paskin, that the bar is potter and shop surah midrashim. But the more it goes now further, but now it's going on a cruise. Now it's going on the side issue. So, but we know the fact is that the nizik gets the nevela. The mazik only has to pay the difference. How do you know that? The answer is the shore. You learn it out from this also should have been a pasuk on the side. It doesn't have it, but there's another pasuk that says v'mesi alo, and that's by shore. What's the pasuk? We got higa shore. So it says the same three words. Amesi alo, it says by shore also that nizik keeps carcass, and over there the Gemara is going to dash in. That means the nizik keeps the carcass, and the masbara pays the difference. And we're going to learn that from shore to bor. Happens to be that's extra credit that once you know that by a shore the nizik keeps the carcass. So to by bor also the nizik keeps the carcass. The Gemara asks, and just to point out that now we're saying that Mesi alo that says by bor, you don't learn out to shore. It means there's a special patur by bor that only if the carcass is usable, but a shop sulam mikdash and the bor is potter, and that only applies to the bor, but the shore is chayv. Like I said before, that the other men the shore are chayv, and the bor is potter. Special patur only by bor. Mesi alo that it says by bor, this pasuk that it says on the side, Mesi alo that it says that bor is potter on shop psula mikdash, and only it applies to bor, nothing else. And the Gemara says, who says this? You're saying there's the Mesi law says by shor also. And over there you say it comes to teach you that the carcass belongs to the nizik. And the Masgula pays the difference. Maybe if a Mesi law that it says by shor, maybe I say over there that it's come to tell you that it's pater and shop psula mikdash, and a bor is chayiv. Is that the Gemara's kasha? My chos is the Bamesi lo the shor mafkes leil ba'alam tapim in avela. Bamesi lo the bor mafkes leil misha meisha lo. Who told you to use each one the way you decided? Using the meisha lo that it says by shor, you're learning out from there that the owner gets the nevela, gets the carcass. And the Bamesi lo that it says by bor, you're learning out over there that only if he gets the carcass, but it's pater on shop psula mikdashin. Eipachana. Maybe say the opposite. Say the opposite that the shor is pater on shop psula mikdashin, and the one that says by bor that you're going to say. Maybe that's what it says by bor, and they're not sure if you want to or not. But maybe the ptor of shor psula mikdashin applies to a shor. The answer is stavra patur patur. How do you write? Patur gabi bor. Hold the patur bor sekalim. That if you have a choice, we have a drasha. We don't know what to do with it. There's one ptor that of a shor what? Patur. I'm saying there's something we have to know where to plug it. We have a Torah. The pasuk is saying a Mesi Alo that is put on Shom Sulam Mikdashim. Where are we going to plug it into? Are we going to plug it onto, paste it onto Shor, or paste it onto Bor? So in Mistaber, we're going to look which one is more lenient, which mazik has more leniencies. So we're going to say that Bor is more leniencies because you see that's a patur on Kalim. Mistaber patur gabi Bor, whole patur basa Kalim. Since you find that there's a ptor of bor more than shor, that a bor is patur on kalim and the shor is chayiv kalim. So now we have a ptor, we don't know where to paste it onto. Should we dash in the Valencia law of shor to say it's patur on shor psula mikdashin or bor? So we'll say Mr. that the Torah is lenient more like bor. So we'll slap on this ptor, Mr. that the Torah meant to say that Valencia law that it says by bor is patur on shor psula mikdashin and the shor is chayiv. Adrabah patur gabi shor, she came patur bo chatzi nezek. You do find the leniency by shor than bor because the shor has a leniency of chatzi nezek. The first few times the tam only pays chatzi nezek, and a bor doesn't have such a leniency. The answer is kuli nezek mias kalashkan. You don't find a leniency by shor of nezek shalom. Once it's nezek shalom, it's more homo, and we're talking about I don't know. So what? Why don't you talk about the leniency of chatzi nezek? I don't really understand what the Gemara's answer is. The Gemara's answer.
You want to pattern from nezek shalom.
You want to pattern from nezek shalom. Want to pattern from nezek shalom. We're not going to say that Tom is patur on shor psula mikdashin either. We're not going to say that the Tom has this leniency. Not a word now, but the pasuk, like the pasuk was talking about a muad over there, and it says Vamesi alone, so we don't find a leniency by a muad, so we have to say shor psula mikdashin is chayiv. Then the Gemara, so it comes out that we had the drushes to find out that a bor is patur on shor psula mikdashin, and nobody else has that ptor. It's called Sharei Yehu, but it has a special ptor since the veil is not usable by the nizik. The pasuk is not talking about it, and you don't learn this out to shor. The other drasha that it says by shor, Mesi Alo, you learn out by the top of Minavela, you do learn out to the bor also, which is a question. It has to be answered. How come you can dash one way out the other? Let's talk about it. Okay, so the Ikar was simple. If you want to, we could put this a little bit in parentheses, that this the whole my time was a parentheses to say how do you know this fact? And the Ikar was to say that if you have accomplices, is each one considered chayiv the whole thing, like a Muslim, or not? This Pinchas corrected me that you don't see that Dafkin al Gemara, but you do see that this Gemara holds like a Muslim that the bor is chayiv even though it's something got pushed into it. So, and then the one that's calculated the ptor of each one, and you have three accomplices, not three people, three accomplices. You can have the shor, Adam, and the bor that together jointly they damaged something or somebody or killed, whatever it might be. So each one gets the ptor that he got, and the other ones don't get the ptor. They have to fill in the ones that are high, but they have to fill in for the one that is patur or not. That'll be talking like Nasan and Rabbanan. Okay, now we get. I hope that was nice and clear and easy. Yeah. And I guess even easier. And we're going to talk about that the shor is the bor is patur on kalim, which we mentioned many times in the Masechta already. And now we got the main Mishnah that it says that bor is patur on kalim. If a shor fell in with its gear, or a chamor fell in with its packages, and the packages got damaged, and all that you don't have to pay. If a person slipped and whatever fell into a bor, or slipped in a way that the bor is chayiv for the damages onto the person, but he's not chayiv for paying for his watch. or for his suit that got torn. A bar is patur on kelim. Why? Anybody say a reason? I think so. I think so. I think so. And then his father.
Why should it be fine?
Why should he be fine? Yeah. Why?
First,
Then
Yeah,
it's
then
it's fine with the nation. Is he going to be fine with the nation also? And then there's a side question in the backstage. Should he be a mensch, as we call, and say how can they have to pay anyway because menschlichkeit, or you can't say menschlichkeit if the Torah says you're potter. The same the Torah says you're not a mensch. So that's a question that we have on a lot of Pturim. Do we say that you still have to be a mensch? Okay, we'll leave it at that. It might be a very how do you say?
it costs a lot of money to do.
Controversial issue, maybe. I'm not sure. That does the Torah include all menschlichkeit already? And if the Torah says that not, and then even if you understand it's menschlichkeit, no, the Torah says what I mentioned. And there's a Torah. I think it might depend. If he's looking at it like Gezer Sekosov, we look at it that the Torah is telling you that this is a reason. There's a reason why a bar should be put. I don't know the answer to that question well, but it's something to talk about by all the Peturim.
But if there's still the Torah is saying you didn't mamonas. So after Escalesa.
I mean, even the Torah will say you should pay as a reyach.
It says Melech is tzaddik. Before he's a tzaddik, you have to be a mensch.
Yeah, but then when the Torah comes, does it say? Yeah, you're right, 100%. He's supposed to be a Superman. He's supposed to be a man. Then he's a Superman. He's supposed to be a Jew. So the question is, when someone becomes a Jew, does it take off the man and now he's a Jew, and the Jew includes everything already? If the man understood it or not, or everything is only built on the basis that it's sure it's not going to change anything. It's not going to be anything in the Torah that's going to be less than Seichel HaYashar would have said. You would have said fine. So it could be that there are differences. If it's only going to be the menschlichkeit, then there could be how do you say? What's the word? It's can even be an halacha, but there could be what's the word? Calculations or
if this guy's wealthy enough,
let's say that for the person that he has to pay, it's going to be a lot of money, and the other person doesn't make such a difference to. So the menschlichkeit, you have other factors, considerations. Other considerations once it comes to menschlichkeit, and the halacha is that it's high.
Well, once you bring up the subject, look, Marshall, the halacha is you have to mechab the older brother, you bechar, but the older sister you don't have. So you're going to say it's us to mechab the older sister.
No, it's us. No. But if someone's going to say no, there's a
is it the right thing to mechab the older sister?
Yes, because she's older. But yeah,
what
is the status of the older brother? You have to know also. What does that mean? The older brother. What is it? It's not the father. Yeah. There's a certain thing that the older brother is more than the older sister. It's not the same. No problem.
So I'm gonna have a candy now. Do I make a shakol if I wash?
I think yeah, and I think so. Anybody? It's not part of the bread. It's not coupled to the bread.
No. So then, yeah.
But I agree. Yeah.
I make a shakol.
Next one. So
kids won't know. Kids probably and everything in this year.
Now for the Socha Shah Caleb and the Shtab, so you chayiv on the shore and you put it on the Caleb. Masisa like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda argues on this big yisod that a bar is put on Caleb. Rabbi Yehuda argues. We had already the time Rabbi Yehuda chayiv on this Caleb a bar, very short and sweet to the point. Rabbi Yehuda holds chayiv. The Mishnah says potter. Rabbi Yehuda says chayiv. Machlokes. We pass like the Rabbanan that a bar is put on Caleb. My time with the Rabbanan, I was going to go through the drushes now. Kimat the rest of the very long time is going to be the drushes over here. My time with Rabbanan, where did they get that boar's butter on Kalim? Don't my 12 enough of Shom Shor Chamor. That's what the pasuk talks about the bar being high. It gives examples of the Shor and Chamor falling in. Here's the pasuk: V'yiftach ish bar, o kirch ish bar, v'lo yechasen v'lav Shom Shor Chamor. The pasuk gives examples of an ox or a donkey falling in. Doesn't talk about Kalim falling in. So you learn from there that Dafka Shor and Chamor. And not only that, we get a little extra credit over here. This is not our subject, but Shor v'lo Adam, that the bar is not trying for a man, and so what if the man dies? If the man dies, I don't know where I remember this from, but there is a chiyuv on niskei adam. But it's potter if over there the shon chamor die. But if a man would have died, this potter. But I hope we get to it. I don't remember where I had that there is chiyuv on niskei adam. Hope we'll find it. And chamor v'lo that's our main issue over here. That the pasuk says chamor. That's coming to exclude that you're not chayiv on kelim. That's the source of the Rabbanan. What does Rabbi Yehuda? How does Rabbi Yehuda know that he says chayiv? The Gemara doesn't just say he doesn't hold the drasha. He says on the contrary. Rabbi Yehuda, the word the extra word. It could have said shor v'chamor, all the rabbis says a kelim. I'm not sure why he has to have a pasuk to be marbi. That doesn't have a he doesn't dash in the pasuk of chamor. He has to use chamor for something else. The Gemara is going to ask the kasha at the end of the sugya. It's going to say we don't know, but I don't know. But the O is going to say that he is chayv on kelim. Rabbanan, what do Rabbanan do with the word O? It's the extra word. They say no, you need the word O. You might have thought I wouldn't have thought, but you would. The Gemara says someone might have thought that if it says you only chayv if two animals fell in. Won't be the smart to say that. If only one animal fell in, you wouldn't be chayiv. You would have thought so. It says that this is an issue in the other sugyas. Do you say l'chalak? When it says above, do you mean that it has to be both, or does it mean either one? So if it would have said shor b'chamor, you would have thought you only chayiv if both of them fell in. But if only one of them fell in, you're not chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda l'chalak v'nafal nafka. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't have to have a pasuk of O to tell you that. He uses the pasuk that says v'nafal. What's the drasha of v'nafal?
Don't say v'naflu.
Right. That it says v'nafal shama shor chamor. This is what we're getting to. That's the before the shir. But Moshe asked. It says Az Yashem Moshe b'nei Yisrael. It should have said Az Yashiru Moshe b'nei Yisrael. That's the shir as those because it means Moshe and b'nei Yisrael. It should have said plural and only says singular. So here the Gemara says v'nafal shama shor chamor, and the Gemara says that even if it would have said v'nafal shama shor v'chamor, Rabbi Yehuda says it would have meant any one of them because it says singular, v'nafal, doesn't say v'naflu. V'rabbanan, v'nafal tuva mashma. The Rabbanan says it's not a right because even if it says v'nafal, it could mean many. And Rashi brings a couple of examples, and Moshe's example is also a good example. Here it says in Rashi, v'nafal tuva mashma, that you have sometimes the word in singular and it means many. Like it says, one example, v'asa b'salel v'aliyav. It doesn't say v'asu. And another case, it says, face. Even though it means, it should have said Uvo, either.
Rashi brings both.
I asked Kasha on this middle one, maybe it means either one. What is there with that he does that? Even if he does the host animal face also, you're not supposed to listen to the Navi Shakir. And Uvo Hari Vesadov, and that by David, both of them came. So Rashi brings three psukim where even though it says lashon singular, it means a lot. When it says two things, it could still say lashon singular. And I would put in also this case of Az Yashir Moshe b'nei Yisrael l'sashir azos. You have Yashir, and it says Moshe b'nei Yisrael. So Moshe asked the question this morning. So I think we have it on today's daf. So at least Rabbanan, maybe you also is asking that it can have a lashon yachid, and it can mean Rabbah. So this is Bava kamma daf nun. Maybe that answers the question. That the word v'nafal doesn't necessarily mean only one. If it would have said v'nafal sham v'shor v'chamor, it might have meant both. It might have meant both. That is only chayiv if two animals fell in. Right. Of course, this far needs explanation, but the words say v'nafal that the Gemara says namucha. So therefore, they want to say it has to say oh. New kasha. Third line, new question. What do we say? That you chayiv on all animals, you butter on kelim. And Rabbi says even chayiv on kelim. Akasha. Why don't you say there's only chayiv on a shor v'chamor? Aim of nafal klal, shor v'chamor prat, klal prat, aim klal al masha b'prat. Maybe shor v'chamor in, midiach min alo. There's a klal prat, there's a yisod, there's a drashes. How are you supposed to dash? So it says klal prat. The halach is ein b'chalal l'masha b'prat. Those who say Bishma Omer every morning, so they know this. Klal b'prat ein b'chalal l'masha b'prat. It doesn't say that over there. Klal b'prat.
I think
It doesn't. It doesn't explain the whole thing. It says klal b'prat, prat to klal, klal prat to klal, klal prat to klal.
toward here.
Yeah, klal prat to klal.
Ain't no problem.
It's a mechanic prat. So it doesn't explain. Yeah, Bishma Omer doesn't speak out. It says klal prat, prat to klal, klal to prat to klal. Yeah, then mechanic prat. But it doesn't speak out. It doesn't speak out. Klal prat is only the prat. Prat to klal is everything, and klal prat to klal is geina prat, something similar. But anyway, the most kashi is it's a klal prat, and klal prat is only the prat. It explains. It says a generality, but it says, you know what I mean? I mean this. So if it says v'nafal shama shor v'chamor, so say v'nafal is a klal, then it's shor v'chamor prat, and the halach is, and the code is klal prat ein v'chalal masha b'prat. It only came to include what it says, and therefore comes out shor v'chamor in midiach min alo. If they don't like that, it's only going to be an ox or a donkey. But if it's going to be a horse or a dog, you're not going to be chayiv for a boar. Is that
Are you also saying that? Are we also saying not Kalim and there's a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda?
Yes, but it's a kasha on Rabbanan also, because they also hold everything's chai besides kalim. So if the horse falls in and the
Okay.
whatever, the camel also chai. So it's a kasha on everybody. That according to this drash, it would be only a shor chamor, nothing else at all. The Gemara answers, Amri. They said the answer is besides saying it says and it doesn't specify what got damaged. So that's called a klal again. So chazav a klal. That's once again saying a generality. And now we have not a klal of prat, we have a klal of prat klal. And then what do we know about that? That's what it says in Rabbi Shmuel Omer. You have to done elokena prat. That it doesn't mean only the prat. It means anything which is similar to the prat. So it's going to be more than just the shor chamor. Anything which is similar to the shor chamor. What's similar? That it's a living being. My prat nefush balichaim, I'll call balichaim. Any kind of a living being.
But where's that?
Yeah.
That pasuk is the next pasuk. We didn't see that pasuk, did we?
Right. No, we did see the pasuk. If we go back to yesterday's and to the daf before, that was the pasuk where it said "Vamesi alo." You have it on the screen over here. So that's the balabo over here.
Okay, thank you.
Point that these two psukim that the screen is giving us is two psukim in order, but it's out of order. Here you have Lamed Gimel, pasuk Lamed Gimel, and pasuk Lamed Aleph. So if we read the pasuk in the right order, here's a nafal. That's going to be the klal. Then you have Shor Chamor as the prat, and then you have Balabo Yishalem, which is our second klal. You have to unjumble the psukim. So you have two klalim, before and after. Before and after. So at this point, the Gemara is happy that since the cloud, product clouds, any kind of living being, any balichai. Of course, we said that a human being, we said the shovel adam, that came to be an exclusion. If the Mazakasha, that you're not eligible to learn out anything which is balichaim, because we have some similarity between the shor and the chamor that maybe kain prat is going to be more limiting, because the shor and the chamor, both of them have a common denominator that when they die, the nevela, the carcass is metame. If you touch it or if you carry it, even if you didn't have contact with it, and a bird doesn't have that. So maybe a bird is going to be excluded from the chiv of a bar. So we do know that a horse and a dog and all kinds of animals, we do agree that you'll be able to learn out klal, be able to learn out that you also chayiv if the boar damaged those animals also, because it's similar to a shor and a chamor. It doesn't have to be dafka shor chamor, anything which is similar. But a bird is not so similar. What's the difference? The Gemara finds a difference that an oaf, if it dies, is not tummy. And an oaf is not tummy if it dies. An oaf tor and also an oaf tummy. Is that true? An oaf tummy also doesn't have tumas nevela. Oaf tor is only if you eat it. Tumas pesabliya. There's a certain case that an oaf tummy could give, but a regular dead chicken, you go to the slaughterhouse. So if you have over there a nevela, a dead cow, so then it's going to be tummy. Tummy b'masa. But if you go to the place where they're slaughtering birds, chickens, so it's a dead one, it wasn't a good shechita, whatever, it died, it's not tummy. Not tummy. So maybe a boar is not going to be chayiv on a bird. What's the case that a bird got damaged by the boar? Usually they fall into the boar. The bird doesn't fall into the boar. What's the case that the bird got damaged? Well, a young bird, or those birds that can't fly, and they got damaged by the boar. So, and we know the fact is that a boar is chayiv on birds. And according to your drasha, that's klal prat klal. Maybe it should be limited only to those kind of animals that we have tumas nevela, and a bird doesn't have tumas nevela. Maybe it should be potter. Maybe a bird should be potter. The answer is no. Then it should have only written one of the two. It should have written either shor or chamor. It's the fact that it says both, so we learn out it's coming to be marvel something more, coming to include more, that more chayiv. If it would have just wanted the klal prat klal, it would have been enough to say one prat. You're getting a little bit mixed up because we had a drasha about shor v'lad v'chamor v'lo kelim. We do need the two drushes. I just lost the cheshbon over here. But if we ignore that for a minute, the Gemara says if he doesn't want to do a klal prat klal, so it would have been enough to say only one of them. Just say the shor or just say the chamor. You didn't have to have both of them. The fact that it says both of them is coming to be marba even more similarity. Not only the thing which has tumas nevela, even something which doesn't have tumas nevela. Both of them have tumas nevela, shor and chamor, but one of them is extra. So we learn out it's coming to be marba more than that is said over here. But the Gemara says it's not true. It would have been enough to say only one. No, the Gemara is asking that even if really bars putter on oath, it still had to say both of them. Because hey nichtov, which one did you want it to write? It would have been enough to write only shor or chamor. It's not true because of shor habamen ekov l'gabi mizbech in shem ekov l'gabi mizbech lo. If only written with shor, I would have said only an animal which is kosher for a korban, like a ox, and you would have said also a sheep and a goat, anything which could be a korban. But chamor, let's say, the other animals that are not kosher for a korban, maybe not. Maybe it tells only machman. These kind of animals, kosher animals that they're kosher for a korban. So it wouldn't be enough to write shor. It has to write chamor. So it's right only chamor. Because rachman chamor avamena. Kodesh b'Bechor in, chain Kodesh b'Bechor lo. Only something which has kedushas b'Bechor, that a chamor, even though it's a tamei animal, but it's one tamei animal that you do after petach chamor, that the firstborn of male donkey is Kodesh b'Bechor. Of course, you don't bring it for a korban, but you have to give it to the kohen. You give the sheep to the kohen. You don't give the chamor to the kohen. You have to give the sheep in place. How does it in the pasuk over there? But yeah, he should be poded, and if not, then you have to kill it. So you'd be supposed to be poded and give the sheep to the kohen.
That would
So
explain
maybe that's only special.
the animal. That's the only animal that's
Yes.
like.
What?
Is that the only animal that
That's the only animal
has
that's
a?
like bechor. So it is true that a kosher animal is a bechor and it's a korban. It goes to the kohen and it's a korban. But the only other animal besides the kosher animals, besides the ox, sheep, and goat, is only going to be a chamor. But you would be true. You would know also a shor because it also has kedushas bechor. You don't give it. You don't give a sheep in this place, but you give it to the kohen and it's a korban. So you would know that also. But you would not know again what
Horses.
You wouldn't know a
horses. You wouldn't know
deer.
horses.
Deer.
So why does
Horse.
it say chamor? If it would have just said chamor, you would have known a shor also. You would not have known a horse. So then the shor is going to be marble horses also. But see, you still don't know birds. That's the most judgment. That shor alone wouldn't be enough at all. You wouldn't know chamor even. Chamor, you would know shor. So you don't have to write shor. So shor is extra, but maybe it's only extra enough to tell you even things that don't have kedushas b'chor, like a horse, etc. But you wouldn't know birds still. So who tells you even birds? So the Gemara says a new drasha. So the drasha to say that shor chamor extra, it's not extra. It's not extra, but you still don't know birds. You'd have to have shor chamor just to tell you all animals besides birds. But how do you know birds? Hello makrov amesi hello called the bar misa. A new drasha amesi hello. Now we had Vamesi already before. The Gemara is going to get to that soon, I think. But at this point, the Gemara says Vamesi alo means any kind of dead. It's not only a. It's a new drasha. Vamesi alo, anything which dies. Before we talked about Nafal Shoma Shor Hamor Balabor, we had the cloud, prat, cloud. Not a Gemara saying a new drasha. That all was not good enough. We wouldn't have gotten birds. But now there's extra pasuk that says Vamesi alo to tell you even birds, anything which is dead, anything that dies. I think it's period. The Gemara is going to come soon to ask the kasha.
Yeah, soon as I was going to say, I see a lot of views there.
How much further down is that going to be? Okay, so the Gemara is going to come back to this. Meanwhile, the Gemara asks a side kasha. I think I didn't realize maybe a side kasha.
No, in Vamesielo.
But it could have asked.
Now I'm asking a kasha. If that's together, you're saying it said it in the pasuk either.
Even it could have asked from the pasuk straight. I'm not sure. Vein the Rabbanim to come Mati Lula Kalim. Vein the Rabbanim to come Abi Lula Kalim. Kalim b'nei Misa Ninu. The Gemara says if the pasuk talks about Vamesi Alo, that the dead object has then the Nizar keeps it, then he pays for the difference. But you're talking about something that dies, and Kalim don't die. So the one's kasha was that the Rabbanan say that you're patur on Kalim. It really says you're chayiv on Kalim. Who talks about Kalim? You can't be chayiv on Kalim because it doesn't. So the Rabbanan, right? The Rabbanan don't need a pasuk, and I view that the pasuk shouldn't help because it's talking about dying, and the Kalim don't die. The Gemara says Kalim die. When a kli gets broken, you say that it died. That's what they say today also. The car died. Usually they talk about a kli that moves, then it dies. The phone dies, but does the pot die?
No.
Does the plate?
The only thing's electricity.
Because that was working, it was moving, and now it's stopping. But the Gemara called anything that's not usable anymore. When the plate gets broken, you also say the plate died. It doesn't.
Can you say my phone died? No?
It could mean that okay, I don't think the one we say that's how we call it that, but it means that that's considered that. It's not a problem that the pasuk could have talked about. So the word Mesi Allah alone doesn't exclude Kalim. So you have to have a special pasuk to exclude it or a pasuk to include it, because besides Mesi Allah would have included Kalim also. Ulurav the Amar Bar Shechiva Lav Torah Lahavlo V'Lo Lachavato Ben Rabbanan Ben Rab Yuda Kalim B'nei Havlo. A similar question, nothing to do with our Sugi Lachora, that the Gemara is asking a whole about Kalim, back to the Kalim. We're not on the issue about the drasha now. Rav says you're not chayiv for the impact. You're only chayiv for the hevel, for the foul there, which I don't know what it is. But this foul there that damages the could kill, like could damage. If it's 10 vachim, it kills. So I don't know what it is. But the Gemara says, according to Rav Shmuel also, that's the chayiv of bor, and it's not chayiv for the impact. So a kli gets infected by the foul there. The kli only gets affected by the impact. They're not chayiv for the impact because karkolam is ikatu. So what are we talking about? You don't need a pasuk according to Rabbanan, and a pasuk can't be l'chayiv even according to Rabbi because you're not chayiv for the chavata. Just the words inside. Rav says that the board that the Torah obligates for you is only because of the foul there and not for the impact. But so both according to Rabbanan and according to Rabbi could Kalim get the damage from the foul there? The Gemara says yes. Amri b'charati the mifki b'havla, that new Kalim do get affected by the hevel. Old Kalim don't, but new Kalim they could break from the hevel alone. So just another.
And therefore I need the pasuk.
You're supposed to say that you're potter because you would have been chayiv for the hevel that damaging the new Kalim. So besides yesterday, a few days ago, I don't know what hevel is. Another, what's the word? More the mystery thickens. The plot thickens. What is the hevel that damages new Kalim? I don't know what it is.
Another layer.
What?
Another layer.
Another layer of the difficulty.
Yes.
Next kasha.
We had one time, with the coil at
The vibrations.
vibrations of the.
Yeah, that's
And that I think we know that
I mean,
vibrations.
that we don't know what it is. This we don't understand. I don't understand yet.
Okay, the Gemara goes back like Pinchas told us. The Gemara is going to talk about this kasha. Where is that now? Hi, Vamesi Allah. The Gemara about a long time ago. The Gemara said the drasha was Vamesi Allah. That's how you know that birds are also chayiv. Chayiv on birds also. Amakro Vamesi Allah. And now the Gemara took out time, 2 kashas in between. I'm not sure why I came in between.
We should have put in the bracket before. We have a since the like of you that we start with Kalim on number 3.
Right.
And we go up to the top. Till Chamor, the Nafal Tuva Mashma.
Right, 2 dots over there.
Now, brackets. Because now Shur Chamor Prato Klal has anything to do with us, Kalim. This whole thing with Oif
No.
So
No.
open a bracket all the way till the Bein Rabban to come out to the Kalim Bein Rabbi, right?
But we're still going to go. This is all a kasha about opus, right?
Yeah,
Kasha is
there's nothing
opus
to do
now.
with us there.
Yeah, okay, further.
Right there.
Over here, we finished?
Yeah. Now we finished Oiva, that's it.
Mhm.
The Kalim. Now that's our Sylvia. That's what we're talking about.
But now the Gemara is now. Now what's this now? What's
Two
all
Gemaras
what's
that have to
this?
do with Kalim.
What's this now?
Now this, because we bought before Shara Chamor, this is going back onto the bracket.
So we shouldn't have.
Again in the bracket.
So we shouldn't have stopped. This is interrupting. We're in the middle of the brackets. Right here, we should have continued with
That's
this.
really our Sylvia.
Brackets are the brackets.
Again, I don't get it. Why did we have? So you want to continue the brackets? So we're in the middle. So it's even worse. Like this is all part
This
of
is
this.
really our Sylvia. That Vamisi Eloi, how does Vamisi Eloi go to Kalim? We didn't have the possible Chavam.
Amesi is for Caleb.
Vamisi Eloi came in Aga.
Again, are you making new brackets over here?
Yeah.
The same. So why are they not connected?
Because we were masking the possible Vamisi Eloi, so now
For what purpose? For
For
what purpose? For oif.
Oif. But our
Yes.
main Sylvia is Kalim. So the second you tell me again that it's about Vamisi Eloi, I have a problem with Kalim and Misa.
So we went out of the brackets into the main sugya
To the real Sylvia.
because we said Vamesi Allah, called the Ramisa, went back into the real sugya.
Vamisi
And then we went further about Chavata, also not the sugya. We went back to Caleb, and we're still really in the middle. Okay.
And now we go
back into the
Vamisi
brackets.
Eloi.
I have a Mesi Allah. We learned that Mesi Allah tells you oif first. How do you know birds are chayiv and bar because bars chayiv and birds because Mesi Allah. We used it already. That was the first part of the day. We used it for the Drash Psul Mikdashin. We brought the Chid Rava, Dama Rava, Shab Psul Mikdashin, Shnaf on the bar Pater, Shanema, Vamesi Allah, Vamisha Meshalo, Yatsa Shena Meshalo. That was all the kasha that was used up already. So the Gemara fooled us. The Gemara tells Mesi Allah. What do you mean Mesi Allah? We used it already a couple of minutes ago. That you learn out from there only if the carcass belongs to the owner. Hashem Kain, the shop seal Mekdashin is not usable, so you're not high for shop seal Mekdashin. So how do you use it for this drasha to say that you're high for nefesh? Ela makra. So that's a mistake. We're going to take this out. This is a mistake. We have to. This is not a good drasha. But Mesielo cannot tell you the birds. So how do you know that you're chayiv if the bird fell into the bar? Ela makra. Kesef yashel. The rabbi is called this. Kesef yashel. The same pasuk as before. How does it go over there? How does the pasuk read? So those psukim, that word that says that he has to pay money, the balabor has to pay money to the damaged party. It's called the Islam Bava. Anything that has an owner and what? And a bird has an owner also. And what is that?
It's the same pasuk.
Same pasuk. Right.
It's not like completely wrong. It's just
Okay.
that pasuk.
Yeah, but it's a reboot. It's a reboot. That's not a reboot. This is the reboot. That Kesef Hashalom, and it doesn't. It's extra pasuk. I'm sure the other drushes also learn out of this. I don't know, but this tells us that for anything that has an owner, and the birds also have an owner. And you don't call the product. No, yeah, all that you don't need. What?
We don't have to say that Kalim is asset.
Oh, Kalim?
We don't have to say. You get to
No, it says by Mesi. It says by Mesi alone. That it's still going to be a kasha. Mesi alone. Talking about someone that dies. You have to say that. But the whole thing about the showing the chamor, the klal of prat, and you don't need all that anymore because this says anything that has an owner. Yachi Kalim should now this to be known already. I'm not sure why the Gemara. Why does the Gemara think we forgot? We had Shavuot Adam. The Gemara says anything that has an owner, Kalim will also have a bor. Yachi afilu Kalim. Adam has a bailam. Adam has an owner. I'm not sure. I would in the case of an Eved. But the Mor's Mash was going on the whole din that he is potter for an Adam, any Adam. And the Mor's asking that Adam also. I hear what you're saying. Could be.
Our owner also.
But it wouldn't be. I would take the time to look in the yourselves if this word is there. But okay, that's my own personal. Yachi afilu kelim, the Adam Nami should also have an owner, and therefore. So he's already a long time ago. I'm not sure. It's just the favorites that come to exclude these two things you're not trying for. And Rabbi Yehuda, the kamma below the kelim. This is we should not wait for the whole time for this. That it said the Rabbanan say kamma below kelim, and Rabbi Yehuda says oh. And we said oh, and then more I said nothing about the oh. He also oh, you do need oh, you don't need oh, but the more left out. How about Rabbi Yehuda? What does do with the word chamor? Ella. Bishlam Ashor Mamad Be Adam. He agrees to that. Ela Chamor, my Mamad Be. What's going to be the extra word of Chamor? Chamor, what's it coming for? Oh, so it says Ella. It's really not an Ella. It's not going to be Ella. Amar Rava Chamor de Bor Rabbi Yehuda. They said that the Levi Akol Kasha. We don't know the answer. So the more throws in something else we don't know. Yeshas. That
Rava knows that there's two drushes that
only two drushes in the whole shas we don't know the answer. One is ours. The chamor that it says by bor in front of you, the those bors chayim and kalim. Why do the word chamor? We don't know. Something else. It says by aveda, by a lost object. It says over there an extra word that we don't know over there. Also, is also nothing to do with our sugya of nazikin. Something else. Another place in Shas we don't know the answer. That the word said we don't know what to do according to everybody. Kasha. That's today's Gemara.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting what these two things are.
One thing you do know, right?
What does it mean? Chamor de bor. What does chamor de bor mean?
That means the chamor that it says by bor, which is the pasuk nafal shama shor or chamor. We'll go to the pasuk on yesterday's page. I mean, the last page. We have the pasuk printed for us. So I'm going to take away all of this that we did before. We don't need all that.
Sure.
This word, this last, yeah. Rabbi Yehuda does. We don't know what Rabbi Yehuda does with this pasuk. Why is it not? This one.
He uses the O to say that it's also kalim, right?
This word, Ashur. I'm sorry, okay, my thing is not working. But the word chamor that it says by bo, according to Rabbi Yehuda, we don't know what it comes to exclude. According to Rabbanan, it comes to exclude kalim. Shavalo adam, chamor v'lo kalim. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, sure, we understand. But why does it say chamor? He holds kalim, this chayv and kalim. It even has an O to say that it's chayv and kalim. You don't need the O either. Take out the chamor, take out the O. But not for shama shor. Malaboy shalem. So the Gemara says, I don't know. once we, that's good so far?
I see. It's a kasha on Rebbe Yehuda. That's the kasha
It's
on
what?
Rebbe Yehuda. That's a kasha.
Right, and no answer. No
Okay.
answer. Once we're mentioning things we don't know answers for, we mentioned another pasuk that it says, "Se by Aveda, by the din of Shabbos Aveda." It says over there the word. Where am I holding? Ah, the next page. Over there by Aveda, it says, how does it say? Anybody know the pasuk? It's an extra word over there that we figured out all the words. There's a whole long list of things that you might have found that you have to return to its rightful owner that lost it. But there's one of the words over there that says se, and it's extra, and we have no drasha for it. So we threw it in, we don't know that either. Does Rashi tell us all this?
Okay.
What said David? Oh, Rashi says, it says chamor, v'shor, v'seh, v'salma, so it's extra. But all of them have a drasha, chamor, and shor, and salma. For all of them have a drasha. But say we don't. Bar miseh. Okay. Let's go. Let's go.
Just down to Joshes. It's two Joshes that have the list of animals. Now, also another thing, it's interesting because you start off from Kalim. How do you fall into the whole thing of Mamish like this? What happened to me is the next Mishnah. It's
also about it.
The
Mishnah is there, and the Mishnah is there, and the Sugi is there.
Yeah, like the Gemara intertwined. We had this a few times.
How did it come in again? Because we need a person. We wanted to know about oil first.
We started off with Kalim, and we said we mentioned already the Shur and the Chamor because we had the Oy maybe.
So we said that's the
And we
sign.
said, oh, Shur and Chamor, that's that.
And maybe maybe
it's
not.
Kasha.
Maybe only Shor B'Chamor. That's not Mamish Sugi later on. Maybe only Shor B'Chamor is Mamish Sugi. But a Mishnah, okay. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.